Today I'm going to show you guys how to trim these fret ends off and make them feel like 100 million bucks. Hey everybody, this is Matt and we're at Texas Toast Guitars. Thanks for watching. So today I have a neck that I just fretted yesterday and it's been sitting in a clamping call overnight. You can see that the fret ends are still, well, you wouldn't want to put this on a guitar. They're proud and they need to be trimmed back. And then I'm going to show you and talk to you guys about how you bevel the ends and make it so that it doesn't poke you in the hand. Now this is a neck that was built for us by Steve at Maximum Guitar Works. So it has blind fret slots, which is pretty excellent. So that means that it's a little bit like binding and that the fret end doesn't go all the way through, just the crown portion. So we're going to use a bunch of different tools. We're going to use some fret end nippers. We are going to use an old school crowning file, and we're going to use this little teeny tiny fret end file, and a bunch of other stuff too. This guy. We're going to use some fret rockers. What I want to show you guys though is like I said, this neck was just recently fretted, and I used my fret press to press them in. And I just kind of was going along with the fret rocker and looking to see if I had any tall frets. And these are all actually really good because we pressed in the fret wire the same amount, and this neck was perfectly good to go before we got started. So you shouldn't have to do very much, if any, leveling of the frets. But if we need to level it a little bit and dress them out, we can do that too. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut off the excess. I am going to speed up the video as we go here because it would be like 3 hours long. It wouldn't be 3 hours. It would be a very long video of me doing a bunch of tedious stuff. So I'm not going to try to cut anything out, but I probably will speed the video up because every time there's a fret, that means I have to do whatever it is I'm doing twice. So 44 times on this guitar neck. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use these fret end nippers. These are from John and Cheryl at Bitterroot Guitars. I have about 10 or 15 sets of these floating around the shop. They're really good. They cut super close to the fretboard. Let me show you what I mean here. You see, I just did, ow. I just did this one right here, and it's very close. As opposed to, I have a set of Klein nippers here that I kind of made many years ago. Let's see how close I can get to that. That's actually pretty good too. But what you want to do is you want to get very close to the board without actually touching the board. Okay, so well, like I said, only 42 more to go. Let's get started. All right, now if we were at the Fender Squier factory, that'd be good enough. Okay, so now that we have all of the fret wire trimmed as close to the fretboard as we can, we're ready to move on to the first filing operation. And for that, I'm going to use this little file that's glued to a piece of ash or oak or whatever it is. I got this from StewMac. You don't need to use a file from StewMac. You can use a file from anywhere. But what we want to do is run this file all along the frets and get the frets, anything that's like hanging over. You know what I mean? Get rid of, like right there. Get rid of that. This file can file wood for a long time before it actually does anything, but it'll make short work of the metal fret ends. Now, like I was saying, you don't need to use a file like this. As a matter of fact, sometimes I'll actually go to the belt sander and grind them off that way. That works particularly well. But this file is a good file, so we're going to use it. Now what I want to make sure I do is just work on the actual fret ends. Hold on, let me move my camera here. I want to make sure I'm just working on the fret ends and I'm not rolling the file over, and more importantly, not grinding my file over the tops of the frets that I work so hard to get nice. Okay, so you can hear it when it stops. Hear how it stopped making noise there? And now I can go with my thumb and touch all the fret ends. Okay. Sometimes I like to actually start to put a little angle on here, and so we'll do that too. We'll just kind of hold the file at an angle. Okay, that feels pretty good, except for this very last one, which is kind of on a bit of a curve. So I'm going to try to get it. That feels pretty good. Don't worry, we're going to finish up the angle with a different tool. Now we'll get the other side. I like to constantly be checking this with my thumb to see if I can feel anything. Here you can hear the file stop working almost. And check every fret on each side, on every step that you do to make sure you don't miss one. Okay. Where'd my file go, Chris? All right, the next tool we're going to be using is this file with a built-in 30-degree angle. Now, this one is, my friend Ryan got this for me. I think he got it from Stuart McDonald. I don't know. It's a piece of slick plastic with a file embedded in it. You could make your own out of wood. There's a couple of wood ones I have floating around here somewhere. But basically, all we're going to do is run this file along the fret ends and impart a consistent angle on each fret. Now, you don't have to do this first. You could start with this file. But I think you'll be filing more if you do it that way. So I always like to start with this guy and get it flat, and then maybe put like a little bit of an angle on there, and then come back with a tool that's got a file held in place and do my angle that way. Now, I'm going to move the camera again because it's very, very important that we don't bounce up over the fret and drag it across the fret top with this file, okay? You have to see which direction this guy's going here. There we go. Okay. So I like to actually hold the file, or hold the neck in my lap and kind of cradle it and do this. Okay. So all the jokes about how I have a lot of practice doing that, it's true for one, but I've seen a bunch of guys who have the neck on a table and do it like this, and they always bounce that file out. I'm not saying that it's going to happen to you, but in my sample size, it happens a lot. if you hold this just right in the light, you can see all of the fret ends look the same. Okay, and that's what we want. All right, uno mas. So again, check every single fret as you go through each step and make sure that you didn't miss something. Okay, now on this file and this file, you're going to get a lot more action in the center because it's harder to push where you start and harder to push where you're about to stop, and easier to push in the middle. So always, make sure you go back and fine tune everything. And when you're rocking out, your patience during this step is going to be rewarded. Isn't that right, Chris?
Yep.
Okay. That looks pretty good. If you buy a neck from like an aftermarket neck company, it is possible that this is all that they will do. And that's pretty good. If you have a neck that you need to, that like maybe the board is shrinking a little bit and you're getting some fret sprout, the next couple of steps that we're going to do are going to help you take care of that. So it doesn't have to be on a brand new neck, it can be on a neck that you've had for a while. This next step is going to take something that's pretty close and make it really cool. All right, so I've got 22 pieces of steel that on the ends have been flattened and beveled, and they start to look an awful lot like this on the end. See what I mean? They've been beveled and they're pointy, and you can imagine if you think about it, like you have 22, actually 44 little chisels on the end of your neck. This corner right here and this corner right here are going to be snag points for the soft, fleshy part of your hand. So we're going to take care of that right now. And the tool that we're going to use there's probably no better tool for this. This is where the internet's going to blow up and say, no, Matt, you're wrong. But my favorite tool for doing this process is this little tiny fret end file from StewMac. These are great tools, and they pay for themselves in one neck if you ever have to pay for someone to get rid of fret sprout, okay? So what you're going to do with this tool is you're just going to round over this corner right here. And I need more glasses than I got. I'm going to use my OptiVisor that my buddy Doc got for me, because it not only makes me look cool, but it helps me see. Okay? And I'm going to actually use the rounded side of this file. Here, let me get in the camera. The rounded side of this file to do this. And I'm just going to come over and just break that corner. Okay? And if you want, you can start to remove the little burr that would be right here on the fret. Okay, so we're going to break one of these corners and start to remove the burr that would be right here. Now, if you don't want to remove the burr, don't worry about it, because we're going to chase it with this file later on. But we've got to do this. We've just got to go through and round over those corners 44 times. Actually, we have to do it 88 times, because there's this side here and the other side of the fret too. So I like to use the round side, but if you need to, you can use the flat side and kind of get in there and just break that corner. It doesn't take much. And you can, remember I said you should run your finger along it every time? Man, you can tell when you break those corners off versus the ones that you missed. Okay, and it goes pretty fast. Ah, yes. Okay. So here's the part of the video where I'm going to speed it up, because this would be wildly tedious and totally boring. Okay, but rest assured, I'm going to get all these corners, and then we're going to go back and we're going to get rid of any other burrs that we might have on here. Okay, and it doesn't take long, guys. But feel, and you can absolutely feel it. Okay. All right, that's pretty good. Now I'm going to take, this is a diamond fret crowning file, and the only thing I use this for is going on the ends of the fret. The reason I don't use this for crowning frets is because I prefer the Z file for that job. But man, let me tell y'all, this is kind of where it's at for knocking off what would be a burr right here on your fret end, okay? Where you drug a file over it. And I can't stress this enough. If you can't see really up, if you can't see up close, get something that will be an aid to vision, because you really want to make all of these look the same, okay? And when you're looking at them through, like I'm looking through one of these Optivisor things, when you look at them through an Optivisor, God, there's a bunch of file marks and stuff and scratches from these operations. But don't worry, we're going to take care of all of that as we go. This is sort of like sanding with 80 grit first. You know what I mean? Just because we're sanding with 80 grit now does not mean we're going to go through all the other grits before we get to 220. Feel me? So don't worry about it if you see stuff you don't like. I learned this trick from master luthier Bruce Clay at Rarebird Guitar Laboratory 30 years ago. And I don't know if he invented it or if he got it from somewhere, but just like the other day, just like yesterday, I saw a StewMac thing on Instagram, and they were doing exactly this with exactly this tool. So, again, I can tell you where I got it from, but this is probably just sort of the old school guitar hack that everybody just knows, and no one knows where it came from. And maybe they all got it from Bruce Clay. I don't know. All right. Okay. Go down and feel all the frets. Feels pretty good, you guys. And we can always go back if we need to, you know what I mean? If you got a couple that are kind of giving you the business, you shouldn't, but sometimes you do. Okay, actually it looks pretty good. You can also clean up the actual fretboard from any file marks with the file going flat, or you can scrape with a razor blade in between the frets. That works really well too. Okay, so the whole idea is that we clean up the frets and we make this fretboard look good, because if we do, then our guitar is going to be awesome. And isn't that what we all want? All right, so that side's done and looks and feels pretty good. Just a little bit more on the other side, and this neck will be ready to make sure that our frets are nice and level, and then we're going to buff these out. We're going to sand them. We're going to buff them to high polish, and it's going to look really good. Guys, if you're having fun with this video or you're having fun doing fretwork, I urge you to come to one of the workshops here at Texas Toast Guitars. This particular neck will be going on one of the guitars that we're using as the model for our $9,000 Strat workshop. Remember, the workshop is considerably less than $9,000, but you walk out with a really awesome guitar. This neck was done for us by Steve at Maximum Guitar Works. You'll have one just like this too, only you get to pick all the woods for the neck and the fretboard. You get to pick the truss rod, whether you want wheel adjust or the headstock adjust. Heck, you can even pick whatever headstock you want, from traditional Fender style to the TTG headstock. Or whatever else Steve has in his catalog of headstocks. You get to pick your body wood and stuff like that, and you get to make all that stuff with Steve at Maximum Guitar Works. You also get to wind your own pickups with Dylan McCurchie from Dylan Talks Tone, and you get to hang out here at Texas Toast Guitars for 4 days, because you're going to be at Steve's for 1 day. Hang out with us and do all the fret work and finish work and assembly and pickup winding and stuff like that. That is going to be a super fun workshop. We've got lots of other workshops if that one doesn't sound like a good time to you, but check it out on the website, link in the description below. Texas Toast $9,000 Strat workshop. We got a lot more fret work to do. Okay, gang, this neck is actually feeling really good right now. I would bet you that even Phil McKnight could probably run pantyhose up and down this neck and not get any snags, but it's not quite good enough yet. What we want to do is we want to get rid of any file marks or anything like that. So I'm going to use some, I'm going to start with some 220 on a block here. And I'm just going to run this along the side of the guitar neck. And I'm looking to, like I said, get rid of any file marks. So let's see. That looks pretty good. And of course, we're not going to stop at 220. We're going to go through all the grits. And we're going to finally end with Scotch-Brite. Now, some people will tell you, and they're mostly right, that Scotch-Brite is... that this particular color of Scotch-Brite is the same as whatever number of sandpaper, and they have taken me to task a number of times and said, why on earth would you rub something with 400 sandpaper and then run 220 Scotch-Brite over it? Well, because the 220 or whatever this is supposed to be is kind of like 220 abrasive paper, but it's not exactly the same thing. It's just a kind of it gives you an idea of the coarseness of the Scotch-Brite, okay? It's not the same as sandpaper, no matter what the good people tell you. Boy, that looks and feels really good, you guys. Okay. Actually, we might, yeah. Man, that feels good. Okay. Maybe we'll run some of this gray Scotch-Brite on it now. I like to go ahead and get everything. Make sure that you get all of the frets and any scratches or anything out of that. And the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to polish these dudes up. Woo! Woo! All right, that feels good. That is a delightful neck. Okay, good job. We do want to check this neck to make sure all of our frets are level, but I've already done that. I kind of cheated. But we'll check it again here, and we're going to tape off the fretboard, and we're going to polish these frets up, and they're going to look excellent. Okay, I've got my fretboard is all the way masked off and exposing just the frets. Now I'm going to go over to the buffing wheel and polish these guys to within an inch of their lives. We'll pull the tape off, and this neck will be just about ready to attach to a body and rock out. Okay, let's do that. I'm going to let these cool for a little bit, and then while my masking tape is still on there, I'm going to wipe off the extra buffing rouge or compound or whatever it is, because I don't want to get any of this stuff on my fretboard that I work so hard to keep nice and clean. Okay? Yeah, actually, it's so cold here in Colorado right now that this fret wire isn't too bad. It's not heated up to where I'm worried about it. Okay. Woo, you guys, that looks good. Now we're going to peel back the masking. And we're going to have really nice frets. So now we have a neck that has really nice feeling frets and really great looking frets too. Okay gang, so that's it. That's a great little quick lesson there, although it's going to take you a little more time. I wish I could say there's tricks to this. There's really no tricks. You just kind of got to get good at it, and to get good at it, you got to do it a bunch. So if you liked today's video, please give me the thumbs up, and if you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and hit the subscribe button now. Sacrifice to the algorithm gods at YouTube, and you will be rewarded in the YouTube afterlife? I don't know. If you appreciate the kind of content that we do here, you might want to consider going over to our Patreon page and becoming a member over there, or you can click the join button here on YouTube. Even $1 a month goes a long way to helping us bring you guys cool content like this. Of course, if you can't do it though, no big deal. Just like the video, share the video as many places as you can possibly imagine, and help us grow our channel that way. So until next time, this is Matt at Texas Toast Guitars reminding you that if you're so smart, start your own YouTube channel. That's what I did. We'll see you next time, guys. Have a good one.